Good evening and welcome to the programme. There are calls tonight to stop two anti-Islamic campaigners from entering Britain. Robert Spencer and Pamela Geller are well known in America for their controversial views on Islam. Both are due to join an event in Woolwich next week, organised by the English Defence League. But the chair of an influential committee of MPs says their presence at the site of Lee Rigby's murder would incite hatred. Keith Vaz MP has asked the government to ban the pair from coming here. Well, we'll be speaking to the head of the EDL in a moment, but first, here's Nick Beake.
I am smeared with, oh, but you're an EDL supporter, as if it's a bad thing.
She is the firebrand American commentator who has joined forces with the English Defence League, sharing the stage with its leader Tommy Robinson in New York on September the 11th last year, speaking out against what they called the spread of Islam.
That is the force that we are fighting against.
He wrote the bestseller, The Politically Incorrect Guide to Islam, and founded a website called Jihad Watch. Supporters say they tell it like it is. Critics say both demonise Muslims and shouldn't be allowed into the UK to speak at an EDL march to Woolwich.
It will take away police resources at a critical time in the summer when they've got a lot of other things to do. And it will give the oxygen of publicity to two people whose views many people found abhorrent.
The EDL is planning a rally for a week Saturday, Armed Forces Day, and is to end at the spot where drummer Lee Rigby was killed last month. One charity which monitors anti-Islamic crimes says the two American speakers are only coming to spread hatred, not pay their respects.
They want to come on Armed Forces Day and they want to go to Woolwich. That's the worst place these people can be, for the memory of drummer Lee Rigby and his family, who want peace and who want to mourn and get on with their lives in peace. To have these individuals and the EDL turn up and use the instance of this poor man's murder is appalling.
Today we spoke to Robert Spencer, who's in America. He says he has a right to come here.
Well, I think it's ridiculous. I oppose jihad terror and stand for the freedom of speech, the freedom of conscience, and the equality of rights of all people before the law. If that's going to incite racial hatred, then Britain is in pretty bad shape.
There was no official word today on what Theresa May thinks about these two speakers. The Home Office said it wouldn't comment on individual cases, but a source made clear that the Home Secretary would stop someone from coming into the country if she believed their presence here was not conducive to the public good. Theresa May has also been urged to ban the whole rally. If it does go ahead, Scotland Yard says it will have an appropriate policing plan in place. Nick Beake, BBC London News.
Well, we can speak now to the leader of the English Defence League, Tommy Robinson, who joins us from his hometown of Luton. Welcome to the programme, Mr Robinson. First of all, Robert Spencer has written a book called Religion of Peace, Why Christianity Is and Islam Isn't. Here's a quote from Pamela Geller's website. Islam is the most anti-Semitic, genocidal ideology in the world. These sorts of views are going to offend and upset lots of people, aren't they? Muslims and non-Muslims alike. What are you trying to achieve other than cause division?
Well, those views are true. And when we hear Keith Vaz and politicians talking about these people being stopped entry into this country, this week we had a Saudi hate cleric enter this country who says it's okay for Muslims to beat their wives. We have hate preachers on every street corner in this country, in every town and city. These two people stand for freedom. They're the first two people to fly into this country to show solidarity with our armed forces. This is not a protest, it's a charity walk by myself and Kevin Carroll from Westminster to Woolwich. We're laying flowers. Robert and Pamela are not giving speeches. They're coming to show solidarity with our armed forces. They're going to lay flowers. I don't see what the big deal with this is. And all these people coming out saying they need to be banned.
Mr Robinson, given that the murder of Lee Rigby has affected communities, all communities, so deeply, you're going to be inflaming tensions, aren't you? What do you think you're going to be doing for community relations?
Well, for community relations, by trying to pretend there's not a problem, that doesn't solve community relations. It doesn't help community cohesion. By pretending that his murder had nothing to do with Islam, that doesn't solve anything either. That's just adding to the problem. We've seen a slow progression in this country from attacking our troops in Luton to attacking them in Dagenham to burning poppies to beheading our armed forces. And people have had enough of it. Now, what we're doing actually on Armed Forces Day is nothing to do with the English Defence League. It's not an English Defence League event. It's individuals going to lay flowers and show respect. That's all it is. And that's what we will be doing in
Mr Robinson, the family of Lee Rigby asked for calm and respect in the wake of his murder. You have to admit that you are being provocative. You're not exactly following their line, are you?
I don't understand how it's being provocative. 2 people doing a charity walk to raise money for our armed forces, and then 5 individuals laying flowers in respect and having a minute's silence. I don't see what's provocative. What's provocative is people driving past the scene where Lee Rigby was killed and laughing and making videos on YouTube, which we've seen many Muslims doing. What's provocative is Muslims from Britain sitting on YouTube and making videos saying he deserved to die, which we haven't seen the government tackle. We're not seeing our police forces tackle. We haven't seen any light at the end of the tunnel since Lee Rigby's death. It will happen again. And to say we're exploiting it, we made a video in 2010 showing Lee Rigby's killer. We tried to warn him of it. We're trying now to warn the government.
You are absolutely provoking tensions by inviting these people who are known for their radical views, and you know that they are going to upset the wider community in Woolwich.
When you say radical views, William Gladstone, one of our previous prime ministers, he said there will never be peace on this earth so long as we have the Quran. It's an accursed and violent book. Sir Winston Churchill said Islam in a man is like rabies in a dog. Now David Cameron says Islam is a religion of peace. I'm sorry, it's not. What's happening in this era we now live in?
Tommy Robinson, I'm afraid we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm afraid we've run out of time. Thank you very much.